Come on. Do I sound like I'm joking? Do I sound like I'm playing? When you look into my eyes, you understand what I'm saying? Let me say it to you slowly, and it may sound scandalous. I don't think that you can handle this.
All right, once again, we are on. I am the Mojo King. He is the great Donnie Oooh, and together we are Hidden Gems Football, brought to you by the Mighty 19 Media Group. How are you today, Mr. Oooh?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. How are you doing, the Hidden Gem Czar, Mojo? How's everything?
Hidden Gem Czar, wow. I'm not feeling too much like a czar this week. After last week, I have to lick some of my wounds there. But new week, new me, new czar. All right, let's break down what everybody can expect to hear today on Hidden Gems Football. We are broken down into 3 sections. In section 2, you will hear about this upcoming Thursday's game. We will discuss what we think are keys to the game. We'll talk about point spreads, over-unders, give a prediction or two. In section 3, we will turn our attention to Sunday's games. Who are our sure thing, can't miss, absolutely will win this week? Things are strongly pointing in the direction of 1 or 2 games, but we'll get to that in a moment. Before all that, we have section 1, and Mr. Donnie Oooh is number 1. We will talk about the one big thing that's caught his attention this week. So, Donnie, what do you have your eye on?
I'm going to go down the path not traveled. Is that the term? I guess it is. I'm going to talk about 2 teams in the National Football League that really aren't getting a lot of coverage in the national media. The Seattle Seahawks are at a record of 4-3. They're at the top of the NFC West division. Who would have thought at the beginning of the season that Seattle, 7 games into the season, would even be at the top of the division or above 500? And then I'm going to go on the other side, the other conference, in the AFC. And while this team in the offseason probably was predicted by the pundits to be postseason representatives, the Tennessee Titans are standing atop of their division, the AFC South, at the record of 4 wins, 2 losses. But there's even more the reason why I chose these 2 teams, and that is called culture. Since Mike Vrabel has taken over the head coaching job of the Tennessee Titans, they've established a culture of tough defense, ground and pound mentality with Henry, and success. I believe in all the seasons, that I might be mistaken, but I believe since Vrabel has taken over, they have made the postseason every season. If not, they've only missed at least 1 time. Like I said, I'm going off the top of my head, so forgive me if I'm giving erroneous information when it comes to the postseason appearances. Tennessee being 4-2, I believe they're in their position based on culture. Now I'm going to go back over to the NFC. The Seattle Seahawks, led by 12th year quarterback Geno Smith. I got a couple tidbits I want to drop. So far through 7 games, Geno Smith has completed 73% of his passes for 11 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Do you know this is the first time in the last 9 seasons that Geno Smith is the undisputed starter of his team? I believe he's like a top 6 quarterback this year. If the wins were a little bit up there, let's say there was 5-2 instead of 4-3, I strongly believe he would be under strong consideration to be in the MVP race. I know. I'm shocked. I have no love for Geno Smith as a Jets fan. And that little saying that he said after that Monday night victory against Denver, yeah, they wrote me off. I just chose not to write back. What does that mean? What does that mean? Can you tell me what does it mean? Regardless, Pete Carroll has established a culture from the time he took over 15 years ago. Pete Carroll said in the offseason, no, we're not rebuilding. We're reloading. Maybe he knew what he was talking about. And this 7-game start with Geno Smith at the helm, and you still have the weapons. You still have Tyler Lockett. You still have DK Metcalf, even though he's currently injured. You still have a competent running game, but now led by rookie Kenneth Walker III, I believe, who's averaging six yards a carry. To tell you the truth, he's probably the prohibitive rookie of the year if he stays healthy due to my injuries, but we'll get into that later. But to bottom line it, before I pass it over to Mo, the Seahawks and the Titans, like I said at the beginning, are two perfect examples of when you establish a culture, you can allow yourself to take a dip, a momentary dip. But since the culture, since the foundation is already set in place, and you know what anybody coming into that building knows the expectations of that franchise, then they're able to remain successful for the long haul. And I personally believe that's what's going on with these two organizations right now. Do you have anything to add, Mo?
Well, I mean, I think you have a good point there about the culture and the coaching leading these teams. Both teams win close games, have been winning close games. And I think a lot of that has to do with coaching. With that said, I think that while both teams should be happy with their starts, I think there's going to be a couple of tests that come up soon that's going to really see how good each team is. For the Seahawks, it's coming up this week. They're facing the Giants. Now, the Giants have held 5 of their 7 opponents to 20 points or less. And the 2 that they didn't, I think it was the Packers and the Cowboys, were only 22 and 23 points. Geno, for as good as he's been, he's really abused mediocre to bad defenses. When he had to face real defenses, he didn't do much. And I'm talking the first 2 weeks of the season. He faced Denver, and then I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And then he faced the 49ers. Mm-hmm. That offense didn't do much. You could say that Geno was just getting familiar with it. This is going to be a good test for him. As for the Titans, they faced the Texans this week. They're having a little issues there because I think Tannehill's hurt. Malik Willis is their backup quarterback, who's very athletic but hasn't really shown much as far as throwing so far. But after this week, I hope Tannehill is back because they're going to have 5 matchups that are going to be pretty tough. The Chiefs, the Broncos, the Packers, the Bengals, and Eagles. Now, the Broncos and Packers haven't been playing well, but again, defense. It's very plausible that they could go 2-3 or 1-4 in those games, and then they'll be right back to 500. So I want to see these next couple of weeks how well these two teams hold it together. I have a question for you, Donnie. Do you think the Tennessee Titans and the Seattle Seahawks will make the playoffs? Yes or no?
You might be surprised at my answer. I believe both of them can make the playoffs.
But
I believe both of them will make the playoffs. Strictly by process of elimination, tell you the truth. You look at like I said, you look at the AFC South. The Texans are not going to be in contention. Jacksonville is 2-5, and Trevor Lawrence is trash. They're not going to be in contention. Matt Ryan just got benched for the season. They're going with Sam, whatever his name is, starts with an E. They're not going to be in contention. So by process of elimination, they can go 9-8 and win the division. They get into the postseason. Seattle, would it be a little bit tougher? But I believe they have an opportunity to slide in as a wild card. I don't believe they're going to win the division. I believe San Francisco or Arizona probably will take the division. But I believe they have every way of getting into as a wild card because I think it's going to be between them and Green Bay fighting for that last wild card slot.
All right. Just because you mentioned it, I will say this. I think the Colts are going to actually be pretty good with that new quarterback. Anyway, we'll talk about that one another day.
Okay.
Let's move to the Thursday night game. Donnie, we're going to have to talk about the Buccaneers again. I hate them. All right. Deep breaths. Baltimore Ravens going to Tampa Bay to play the Brady Buccaneers. The Ravens are 1.5 point favorites. The total is 45 points. That means Vegas thinks, get this, the score will be Baltimore 23 and 1/4 points to Tampa Bay's 21 and 3/4 points. There are some injuries to discuss. Mike Evans has a knee injury. He was limited on practice on Tuesday. It looks like he will play. Russell Gage and Julio Jones were both also limited after not practicing on Mondays. I don't know if we're going to ever see Julio again, at least healthy.
I don't think so.
It breaks my heart, but it is what it is. On the other side, the Baltimore does have some injuries to worry about themselves. Mark Andrews did not practice because of a knee injury. He's expected to play. He's actually been playing through the knee injury, but it has to be noted that last week he had 0 catches on only 2 targets, even though he was on the field. He can't be at 100%, I would think. And on defense, they've had a major injury. Safety Marcus Williams dislocated his wrist and will not play. In his place will be rookie Kyle Hamilton. Donnie, who do you like in this game?
Just for spite, because Tampa Bay cost me a major parlay last week, I'm going Baltimore. I'm not very confident in that pick because Baltimore can be up by like 15 points in the fourth quarter. And guess what they'll do? They'll choke the lead away because that's what they've been doing week after week after week. Something inside me, I guess my scarring from being a Jets fan all those years with Tampa Bay, with Tom Brady torturing us, I just can't see Tampa Tom not coming out and trying to avenge that embarrassment that was this past Sunday in Carolina. 3 points. 3 points. So
they kicked the field goal when they were down 14 late in the fourth.
Yeah. I got hyped. I'm like, Tampa Tom about to get some magic. 3. You're dead. 3. 3's not gonna do anything. Throw the ball. But yeah, Tampa at home, Tampa on a short week. Baltimore's defense is a sieve, especially in the fourth quarter. Against my better judgment, I will be going Tampa. Plus, I do not trust John Harbaugh. And I know I'm just adding on. And pretty soon, there's going to be a narrative about Lamar Jackson and what's going on. It's the pressure of playing for a new contract getting to him. I don't know. But I'll keep that to the side. Tampa's my pick.
All right. We might need to have a discussion about Lamar Jackson in these upcoming weeks. But I want to go a slightly different direction. Well, actually, I do want to talk about Lamar, at least as far as last week goes. Did you realize he only threw the ball 16 times the whole game? They ran 44 times. Now, a part of that was the return of Gus Edwards.
Yes.
He came off the IR to lead the Ravens in the rushing attack. He scored 2 touchdowns himself. He's a ground and pound guy. He's not a speedster in any means, but that's the type of game that Baltimore likes. What's interesting to me is that with the safety injury and the amount of talent that Tampa has as far as their wide receiver core, it would seem like this is the week for them to go off. But then again, the last 2 weeks were the weeks they should have went off too. So clearly, their offensive line is having a problem, Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Brady's numbers still actually look pretty decent, except he's not throwing for touchdowns. Their ground game is pathetic. I guess that's the line again. I expect this game to be ugly. Like, it shouldn't be, because you look at typical Brady, he should be able to carve this defense apart, but he's not getting in the end zone, and I don't think it's going to change now. I don't believe that the Ravens will be any worse than Carolina as far as defense. So, Tampa fooled me once. Shame on them. Tampa fooled me twice. Shame on me. I see a lot of ways that logically it should be Tampa that wins this game. I'm not taking them. So I'm abstaining from making a pick there. But what I will do is that I will take the under. And the reason I will take the under is because one of these offenses is not going to do anything. I'm not sure which one. But one of them will not do anything, because Baltimore is going to be running against Tampa's defense. Tampa's pretty good against the run. And I don't trust Tampa's offense. One of these offenses will suck Thursday. I'm sure Amazon thought they had a great game here, Lamar versus Brady, and I think it's going to be another crappy game. Under. That's my pick.
So Tampa then scared you off of making a pick. So you don't trust Tampa, but you will not put your name on Baltimore?
Tampa has done so much damage to my survivors. I hate them. And that is not like me. I've talked to you about this before. I don't have favorite teams anymore because it's not good for business. My distaste for Tampa at this point makes me question how realistic I am being. That's the reason I'm just not going to pick them. I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just take the under.
I will say this. I actually feel bad for Tar Bowles, because right now he's being exposed as not being a good head coach. Granted, the position that he's in is not the most optimal, because you have you have injuries on the offensive line. You have a 45 going on 46-year-old quarterback. But going into this offseason, everybody was patting Bruce Arians on the back of, all right, you set your boy Todd up with the juggernaut. For once, an African-American coach is going to be put in a pristine position, unlike the counterpart from last week, Steve Wilkes, where they gave him an interim job, and now all of a sudden they're fire selling and selling off all the good assets of the team and saying, oh yeah, just work with it. Finish out the season. Maybe if you do a great job, maybe you'll be in consideration. Todd Bowles didn't have that. So that was a plus. 7 games in the season, Todd Bowles is 3-4. I'm sorry. You have, yes, I know injuries is an issue, but you have pretty much the same team, if not more talent than you had last year. What's the difference? Coaching. And that goes back to what we was talking about with Seattle and Tennessee. They don't have the most talented rosters, but due to their culture and due to their coaching, they're above 500. Tampa Bay is underachieving, and he doesn't have the respect of his quarterback.
Well, it's interesting, because I definitely want to get to the next point, but I think you have a good thing. You have a very good point about the coaching there. But the thing that's interesting is, remember, Tampa was kind of struggling at the beginning of last season. But Bruce Arians is above average, a superior coach, and he was able to figure it out. Him and Tom Brady, they figured out how to make the offense work. Bowles can be an average coach and maybe not be able to figure it out like Arians did. So, yeah, he was set up to possibly get this team to the Super Bowl, but maybe it was the coaching that was part of the reason they got there. And you put somebody that's not superior like Arians is, maybe this is what happens.
Like you just pointed out, last year they started out slow, but based on Bruce Arians, they was able to kind of figure out what would work, what's not working, and go a combination between him and Tom, because they had to come to an agreement of philosophies, because Arians is, throw it deep risk it, no biscuit, that type of thing. And Tom was more crossing patterns, short passes, control passes, timing. They came to a meeting of the heads. Todd Bowles also is a defensive coach. So I'm quite sure he's not having but so much input on the offense. So pretty much that's a for lack of thought, that's a Tom Brady, Brian Leftwich led offense. But his strong point is the defense, and the defense after the first 3 weeks of the season has nosedived. Once again, that's coaching. But I believe him having a defensive slant toward, a way of thinking toward the team is not helping when they're in the offensive doldrums such as they are.
Yeah, I would say that their defense hasn't been a problem in any of these weeks. Even lately, I just feel like the defense has kind of given up because the offense is doing nothing.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. And Tampa's going to end up winning that division by default also.
Yeah, we'll see that. All right. Enough of that. Enough of Tampa Bay.
Gotta go to the bathroom. Sorry.
Well, they pissing me off too. All right, break time.
She told us some scary stories, so please enjoy the debut of Freya's scary stories here on GI.
There's a spooky hunter's house, and it was haunted with a ghost inside. And a little girl came inside and came out. The ghost said, "Boo hoo." Okay, can you hear that?
All right. No more Tampa. All right, let's move on to survivor picks. And thankfully, we don't have to talk about the Buccaneers in this one.
Lucky you.
All right. Lucky me. lucky a lot of people, I got to say, because between Tampa and New England, 55% of entries were eliminated. That's insane. 33% of them were Tampa Bay, and the rest were New England. All right, moving on to this week, though. I have 3 games that are pretty much that seem like the targets for Survivor this week. Remember, the team has to win or you're out. So, first game, and the game I'm probably just going to go with hard. Pittsburgh at 2-5 is going to Philadelphia to play the 6-0 Eagles. The Eagles are 10-point favorites. The Eagles 10-point favorites at home against Kenny Pickett. I like it. What do you think, though?
Oh, Eagles all the way. Fly, Eagles, fly. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Straight like all that. Right. I don't got nothing else to add.
I'm with you. I think sooner or later Philadelphia will trip up. I just don't think this is the week, so I'm not worried about it. I think that's where I'm going. Next game I'm looking at, the Chicago Bears are going to Dallas to play. Chicago's 3-4. Dallas is 5-2. Remember, now Dak is back. They were winning without him. Dallas is a 9-point favor at home. Do you like that one?
I would normally say this is a no-brainer, but Chicago is coming off a big victory this past Monday night against New England in New England by the score of 33-14. But I believe that had a lot to do with New England's ineptness on offense than anything that Chicago really did. So I don't believe Chicago is going to repeat that against this Dallas defense. So yeah, Dallas.
All right. Yeah, I don't like the spread. I think the spread is a little bit too big because I think Chicago could hang with them, but Dallas should win. So that's another game I am looking at. And then the last of the big 3 is Sunday night. And this really should surprise no one except for the names involved. Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay Packers are going to Buffalo to face the Buffalo Bills. Green Bay's 3-4. Buffalo is 5-1. Buffalo is 11-point favorites. Are you certain that Buffalo will win this game?
Part of me really wants to go Green Bay way. This is the first time in Aaron Rodgers' career that he has been a double-digit underdog ever.
Wow.
Now, I'm not going to say that they don't deserve to be the underdog. I'm not even going to say that they don't deserve how they've been playing the last couple of weeks to be a double-digit underdog. But it seems like every week this season, we've had a result that nobody thought of. We've had a team that's beat an established juggernaut that nobody would have thought. Hence, last week, Tampa Bay and Carolina. Matter of fact, this past Monday, Chicago over New England. And like I've said in the past, there's something about these primetime games that are just a little hokey. So I guess being the fact that my forte is to try to pick the team that nobody else would pick, I'm leaning Green Bay.
Are you seriously considering, would you take Green Bay in a Survivor?
Yeah. Just like I said, I'm a little loony. I don't know. It's Buffalo coming off a bye. They're at home, yes. Have they been phenomenal this season? Yes. It's just, I believe Aaron Rodgers will actually be more focused than he's been in the last month playing. And so I think, and also I think being the fact it's prime time and they do have two good running backs, I think they'll keep the game close. And but yeah, you're not gonna change my position. I'm going Green Bay. And I hate Aaron Rodgers, but actually I hate Buffalo a little bit more because they lose and we win. Guess what? Number one on top of the chart.
Oh, okay. I knew it. Bro, you've really had me puzzled there because I was like, what's the angle? Because usually I know you'll take a team that somehow destroys the Giants because you hate them. This time it was to help your Jets. Okay, I got you now. I was wondering because I thought you had really lost your mind. But see, that's what I was talking about earlier about fandom. That's the reason fandom's no good. All right. Now, usually at this point, I say the next three biggest spreads or the games that look like they should be a favorite clearly. But there's literally no more teams that are more than 4.5 point favorites. So I have nothing to list. You already picked the insane pick. But I'm going to ask you again. Do you have another underdog that you like?
Yes, I do. And it's underdog only by name only. My New York Jets. Look, I to coin a phrase by one of our close brothers from Arizona. Yeah, I'm going to be Homer Jones today. I'm picking the Jets over the Patriots because for the Jets to be at home, to be a 1.5 point underdog at home against New England? Did anybody see what happened this past Monday night? Yeah, okay. Yes, we're coming into this game besieged with injuries. We've lost our number one running back, potential rookie of the year candidate, Breece Hall, for the year with an ACL injury. We've lost our all-pro offensive lineman, everything offensive lineman, Elijah Vera Tucker, for the season with a torn tricep. We have Corey Davis being hampered and injured with a knee injury. And Zach Wilson, much to my dismay, has regressed the last couple of weeks, and I don't know what the hell he think he's doing. With all that to the side, the Jets are 5-2. We're on a 4-game winning streak. We're 4-0 on the road. New England doesn't even know who their quarterback is going to be. They started Mac Jones off injury, and they benched him before this first half was over, and in which got inserted Bailey Zappi, whatever the heck his name is. He promptly scored 2 touchdowns, and then that was it. They were quiet for the rest of the game. But yet, we're still an underdog. So, just to bottom line it, the Jets is my underdog pick of the week. Only by name only, because they should be favorite, but continue the narrative of us being underdogs for the whole season so far, and we're 5-2 as the underdog. So make that 6-2. Jets, Jets.
I just like to point out they're 2.5 point underdogs. Not 1.5.
Even worse. Trust me. I was going to forego this week. We're putting my coin on some gambling lines, but best believe, yeah. Shoot. And it's payday? Yeah.
All right. Brent money is going on the Jets.
Yeah. So if I'm homeless, I will put in the description where you can cash at me to pay my rent.
Good deal. So hopefully you will not be broadcasting from outside tomorrow.
No, I'll just probably be broadcasting from your balcony.
Hey, man, that's rent too. All right. I think we're at the end here. Donnie, I always get tongue-tied here, so you lead the way.
Oh, you would put me on the spot, right? Okay, I'm going to start off as usual with. Matter of fact, no, I'm going to switch it up a bit. Check out the hidden gems czar himself, the TheMoJoKing, and his 2 other hip hop. Matter of fact, hip hop hidden gems is one entity with him and his partner Willie Freeman unearth all the hidden gems in the history of hip hop. Their latest episode, one jewel, one verse, breaks down the verse from Nas from his 4th studio album, Nostradamus. I forgot the name of the song. What's the name of the song, Mo?
Last Words,
which is actually one of my favorites, even though I forgot the name. But I love the beat, and the verse is phenomenal. And also check out Hidden Gems Golf, in which he actually just dropped the episode yesterday. Talking about what, Mo?
The Butterfield Bermuda Championship.
Yes. So
a crappy field, but that's what Hidden Gems is for. We love the crappiness.
Hidden Gems Golf, for all your information in the world of fantasy golf. If you're interested in fantasy golf, or you're just interested in hearing Mojo's voice talk for about 15 minutes, trust me, you will be glad you did. And last but not least, I think, see, I'm a humble dude. I put everybody else before yours truly. Check out my podcast, The Salty Thoughts of Donnie Oooh, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Anchor.fm, amongst other streaming platforms wherever podcasts is available. Also, check out my YouTube page under Mike Steph. Eventually, I'll get a handle because I think YouTube is coming up with some handles type thing. So maybe I actually have a personalized page. But check out my YouTube page, in which I just released yesterday part 1 of Donnie's 3rd annual half NBA preview, in which I break down Eastern Conference teams, specifically my New York Knickerbockers. And last but not least, check out easytree.me/RotoDonnieOooh for everything Donnie Oooh, Salty Thoughts of Donnie Oooh merch, Salty Thoughts, matter of fact, Donnie Oooh music. And speaking of Donnie Ooh's music, I finally got a release date. Jay Furman, Donnie Oooh, The Elders EP, dropping November 4th. Yeah, I can't believe it myself. November 4th. Next week, I'll have more information, but definitely circle that date on your calendar, November 4th, Bandcamp Friday, and because that's where I'm going to be able to drop it, and that's where you're going to be able to cop it. Buy the shirt.
Buy a shirt.
Buy a hoodie. Buy a hat.
All right, man. Sign us off.
Okay. Hidden Gems Football is a part of the
Bye. Look, I just put the ticker in.
Oh, yes.
This is a 19 Media Group presentation.
I used to walk around the house singing that song. Ring my bell, ring my bell. And it was like, Michael, stop it. I'm like, stop what? Don't sing that song. I'm like, what? What's the matter with the song? Ring my bell, ring my bell. Now I grew up in a household full of women. So, you know, they knew exactly what I was talking about. You know, so does my wife. All right, where we at?